Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Chaos Dwarves led by Creeper facing off against the High Elves, who shall be helmed by Hobo Honkers here on the Jade Tomb. And it is going to be Astrogoth with a Destroyer. So ever since the most recent patch, the Chaos Dwarves have been using primarily Astrogoth and Zaytan, because the Amulet of Blood and Darkness, which is the one item that made the Sorcerer Prophet super OP, was nerfed into oblivion. It used to have a map-wide effect, so whenever anybody casted a spell anywhere on the map, it would basically heal your Lord, which is so cracked, right? They would Spirit Leech you and he would heal through most of the damage. He's off, somewhere fighting, they cast an Earthblood on the other side, it heals your Lord, right? Just absolutely nuts. But now it has a 100-meter radius, so you're most likely going to be seeing Astrogoth and Zaytan being brought, because Zaytan has a net, when nets are really, really good, especially with shooting factions. And then Astrogoth is a great fighter with a good lore of magic as well, so probably going to be the go-to. So we got old Zoltor down here, and the Kadai Destroyer did receive some buffs this patch as well. And with the interaction change between big monstrous things, being able to hit infantry-sized characters more, maybe this guy's a little bit better here. And I believe he did get a turn speed increase as well to make him a little bit less lumbering and more effective at maneuvering. But cool build. It is going to be 2 units of Sneaky Gits up on the objective to get the Vanguard capture weight. We have Astrogoth as a combat character with the Black Hammer of Hashut, so not going to be getting into caster mode himself. And the Destroyer. Now, the Destroyer against Elves is kind of interesting because they don't have powder. Obviously, they have Sisters of Avalorn. I believe this thing has fire resist too of 35%. So yeah, the Sisters would actually have some of their damage mitigated, but bolt throws aren't super good. So maybe if there's a situation where the Destroyer is okay, it's against factions like this, like Elves, for example, who will struggle to get through the 120 armor. On top of that, I believe this ability was buffed. Let me go ahead and find it here. I don't use this thing terribly often. The Hellish Frenzy, yeah. So the threshold used to be hit point. Now it's hit points greater than 50%. I believe it used to be like a worse threshold. So that's kind of a cool change. So he gets that little stat buff. Couple units of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, double Magma Cannon. Magma Cannons are not bad against High Elves, especially against Archer builds. High Elves do have some fire resist on like a unit or two, but yeah, I still don't hate the Magma Cannons. They'll be able to put some hurt down. Arguably, though, against High Elves, the Deathstreak Rocket Launcher maybe is a bit of a more consistent choice because of the SEs they like to bring, but honestly, both are viable. So I do like it. Looking here at the Elven build, Silver Helms for Hobo Honkers with a Noble as well. Nice little Anti-Large Noble, going to be able to put some threat down on the Kadai Destroyer and trains, and an Archmage of High Magic. So Soul Quench is on the table to long shot the infantry and maybe the artillery, and Apotheosis to heal the Noble and other SEs. Big Ranger core in the woods. It's going to be double Ranger backed up by the Warlions of Crace as well as Silver Helms. And ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I think that's it. Second Noble in the back and Lothern Sea Guard. So let's see if the Destroyer can get some work done. Now, double Magma Cannon shots out of the gate. It's going to be tagging Hobo Honkers here and doing pretty good damage against the Silver Helm. Silver Helm's actually losing a model there, and these ones lost 4 models and lost a fair amount of HP, so pretty cost effective. Now, the Destroyer is going to be maneuvering. Soul Quench is going to be used, and it was overcasted. Pretty respectable damage. The thing is, you do, of course, have the Uranin Thunderbolt, or the High Magic, which is typically used, but that can be dodged by the Chaos Dwarf player. If they move the artillery when they see the cast, they can usually avoid it. Whereas this is a little bit more consistent. Over time, you are going to be getting a snipe on one of the artillery pieces, right? Chaos Dwarf is probably going to get this point back, although we do have 2 Nobles coming in, but I think the Destroyer and Astrogoth would trade pretty cost effectively here. And in the woods, we do see the Rangers coming out, so the Warlines of Crace, the Narnia lines have emerged, and we are going to be seeing the Goblins getting feasted on, as the Hobgoblins are going to be paying the Troll Toll. Big Cav charge as well. And they took that charge a lot better than I expected. I figured they would get punished there a little bit more. But the Chaos Dwarves do have a Metal Caster, and he's going to be using a Final Transmutation, which honestly isn't a bad one. Does hit 2 Silver Helms, 2 Lions and a Silver Helm, so not a bad cast at all, while the Magma Cannons continue feasting. Over here, we do see the hunt, the Kadai Destroyer. This is what you guys are here for. We want to see if the Destroyer can actually do something for once. I would love it to become meta. That'd be super fun. Alright, so over here Ninja Stars are being thrown, and now we do get the Bull Centaurs in here, so they're going to be a very good counter against all these cavalry units. They do get charged a little bit, but for the most part the Bull Centaurs should be fine, and they're going to get their hammers out and start bonking down these Elven cavalry pretty damn bad, while Magma Cannons are feasting into the archers and getting some very, very good value. So far, Chaos Dwarves are definitely out value trading. Astrogoth going to be hunting down the 2 Nobles, and what's so cool about him is he's an infantry-sized character, so the anti-large Nobles will be subpar against him. Back objective does get taken by the Elves. Elves going to be holding on to objective 3 and objective 2, while the White Lions of Crace are being called in as a counter against the Chaos Dwarf infantry. Not a bad choice. And now the big Destroyers here. Oh yes, give us the cool attack animations. Oh, that's one of the probably coolest scenes in all of the trailers Creative Assembly's ever done. Is when the Kadai Destroyer lets that bellowing roar and it has that mechanical industrial metal sound. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, but Mass Route going down. Destroyer actually getting an impactful charge. Rangers breaking, and it looks like the Lions are going to be breaking as well. Now, Noble's getting some damage in, but the Demonsmith Sorcerer should have the Reforge ability, so there's going to be some healing on the table for the Destroyer. On the objective, it looks like it is being contested. The Chaos Dwarf Warriors, some of them pulling back, and oh, nice play by Hobo Honkers, sneaking into the backfield here. The Silverhelms moved through the middle. And if you time a backfield push when your opponent summons like a heavy infantry unit, you'll know they won't have resources typically to bring in something to protect it. So Silverhelms here are going to be getting onto the Magma Cannon. Magma Cannons die like instantly in melee, so this thing going to get folded, shattered, if not killed. Really, really nice play right there. So Hobo Honkers climbing his way back in the game, because honestly some of the trades were going pretty badly, but getting a kill on a 1,000 gold artillery piece and potentially threatening the other one here is going to be quite brilliant. Astragoth chasing down the nobles. It looks like the Black Hammer of Hashut did sing in the night as he was able to bonk the noble here. Noble going to be fleeing the scene while Astragoth continues chasing with his old stone robo legs there. On the backfield, though, we may see another Magma Cannon going down. Kadai Fireborn being called in, and yeah, they'll be able to beat these Silverhelms for sure. They have 80 armor, okay melee defense actually for a Monstrous Infantry unit at 40, and they've been getting a couple buffs here and there, so certainly a better unit nowadays. Magma Cannon is on the run. Narnia Lions aren't going to be able to get a full surround on it. The Chaos Dwarves are like, go, go, go! There's like Jurassic Mark, both Lions here. And they are going to be getting away. Maybe, I think the Kadai Fireborn will probably finish their fight back here against the Silverhelms, and then we'll be able to move on and maybe save this. Bull Centaur Render is going to be moving over to try and salvage that artillery piece, which if they do is going to be quite big. Metalcaster getting a beautiful Searing Doom, and Chaos Dwarf Warriors do lose head-to-head against the White Lions of Krace, but in this situation, since there's two of them, and the Searing Doom is in effect as well, and the Magma Cannon, a little bit of a swing and a miss right there. You know, hey, the collateral damage, it could be worse, right? Because the Warriors of Hashut do have 15% flame res, whereas the White Lions don't. So I guess they have the missile resistance, which should be in effect there, I'm not sure, but Astragoth being afflicted by the Mighty Roar, so this is a good play by Hobo Honkers. Using the Anti-Infantry Rahagra's Pride to go after Astragoth is brilliant. Soul Quench activated, nice one right there. Does tickle a little bit of HP off those units as another Narnia line does make its way back in. And the backfield is secured, so this is very fortunate for Creeper. Creeper able to secure the Magma Cannon, and he's got the Fireborn and the Blazing Beards as well as a relatively healthy Bull Centaur on its way up. Now, the Destroyer is going to be fighting Mono E Dos here with these guys, so it's going to be 1v2. But probably should be able to win it. 6,000 HP, the Reforge ability is active. Reforge actually is a pretty substantial heal. I think it's like close to 20% HP. And he might be able to beat these nobles, most likely will. He's stomping the yard, nobles taking any damage, not quite yet, but Astragoth going to be coming in. It's just like the cinematic trailer, Astragoth with his pet dog here, able to chase back the nobles, and they will be on full retreat. Now, looking at the overall state of the battle, even though the value is close, I do think that the Chaos Dwarves are pretty well ahead. The healing on the Kadai Destroyer is going to be mitigating a lot of the value gap, and I feel like the damage tracker isn't properly tracking a ton here. And moving on in, we do see Astragoth and the Kadai Fireborn chewing it up versus the White Lions of Krace. Narnia Lions going to be sweeping back across here. And so begins the onslaught of the Dowie Tsar. Now, Mass Archers called out here for the High Elves. The Archers, in theory, will be good against a couple of these units. But, I mean, there are shielded, armored Chaos Dwarves. The Fireborn are a little bit vulnerable to the Archer play, but I feel like it's going to be a tough one for them back there. On the back objective, Sneaky Gits are the only thing holding that point, but a couple Sneaky Gits going to be coming out of the woods. Magma Cannon shooting into the Archers is going to be brilliant value, and that's what Magma Cannons are really designed to kill, is like Archer equivalent units. You can see it does get a semi-direct hit right here, pretty much a direct hit, and actually is able to get the full Afterburner effect. Nice little Archer box though, and they all are Lothern Sea Guard, so if they do get charged by the monster stuff, they will be able to fight back a little bit. Looking at the value right here, 8.5 for Hobo, 7.8 for the Chaos Dwarves, and the Archmage of High Magic probably running a little bit low in Winds of Magic, whereas Astragoth and the Destroyer are going to be pretty viable throughout the entire course of the game, whereas the Eagle for sure is going to be falling off here. So Rahagra's Pride and those Narnia lines are pushed back. Looking at the points, we do see the Chaos Dwarves sitting at 578, so they have pulled the points lead for the first time in the game. Rangers on their way in, so Rangers going to be heading to the back objective and some Illyrian Reavers, which will be able to push off these goblins. Granted, there is the Granite Guard Giga Chads coming in, so Granite Guard are so freaking cool. Chaos Dwarves are just such a rad faction. I just saw the Age of Sigmar releases, actually, which are kind of interesting. They're very distinct from the Fantasy Chaos Dwarves, not as much my cup of tea, but the big mounted monster looks pretty cool. The Sorcerer Prophet riding on the bull, and some of the foot characters I did like, but overall, the blunderbusses are they almost look like 40k. Like, they look like they're using, like, Necron, like, pulse rifles or something. That's just Age of Sigmar. It's super over the top, right? So on the backfield, though, the Archers do get pushed. We do see the big destroyer getting in there, going after the Lothern Sea Guard, and Astrogoth able to shut down the other one temporarily, while the third one is being taken down by the Blazing Beards of Bashar. So that's like almost 2,000 gold shut down after getting a little bit of value. Let's go ahead and see. About 400 on this bad boy. This one's about, I don't know if that was the same one, but a decent amount there as well. Now, normally this would be a pretty scary push for the Chaos Dwarves. Granite Guard, though, are very tanky fighters. They have 38 melee attack and 46 melee defense. So almost as much melee defense as like some Chosen units, right? But the Chaos Dwarves going to be calling in the Demon's Tongue. It's going to be Limp Bizkit getting in here, rolling, rolling, rolling as it gets in. And those elves are going to be getting cooked. So really, really nasty push as we do see the elves getting folded here in the back position. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. It's going to be hard. The Chaos Dwarves have this like Death Star, right? They have the Destroyer and Astrogoth, and there's nothing the High Elves have that can really contest that. I feel like they're able to just move wherever they please and just get the job done. Nobles going after Demon's Tongue, though. That's a good choice. Nobles with their little anti-large spears, poking a little bit of damage so far. But the Demon's Tongue is going to continue rampaging. Is the objective being held? No, the High Elves did take that. Granite Guard getting worn down here by the waves and waves of Silver Helms. How much value have they gotten in melee? About 500 value fighting in melee, which isn't terrible. So Dwarves holding the back point here. The Destroyer chasing off the last of the archers. Astrogoth going to be heading back to the back point right now. And ooh, there's going to be a final transmutation here most likely, which will probably end the game. If you're going to drop it on the Archmage right now, you kill the Archmage, you get both Nobles here, and he's sneaky, sneaky, dude. He's a little guy. He's very, very cunning. You want to get the 2 Nobles, though, and it is going to be getting activated, and let's see if Hobo's going to be responding to this, as it is going to be going down. Both Nobles do get afflicted. He fans them out, which is the correct play, so you want to get out of the Winds of Magic area, and it is only going to be still worth it, though, for sure. The amount of damage it did there, not bad, and it bought time for the Demon's Tongue, while the home objective, the High Elves, is going to be taken by the Destroyer and Astro Chad, so Astrogoth fighting here. He does have his Blazing Beards of Basharak, which of course are countered by the War Lions of Krace, but the big old Kadai Destroyer actually getting about 1,900 value so far. Really cool to see the Destroyer actually like being a functional, threatening monster. And Hobo's a very good player too. He's made top 4, plenty of times. I don't know if he's gotten a tournament win yet, but I think he might have. So yeah, very, very strong. Blunderbuss back online. There are 49 of the 80 models, so their firing efficiency is still going to be pretty good. Elves are going to be rotating over to Objective 1 to try and grab that with their mobility, while the Destroyer is going to be feasting like the Heathen Kings of old back here, and it is able to push down the Narnia lines here. The War Lions of Krace are broken and terrified, and they are going to be running for the hills. On the backside, Lothern Sea Guard are getting some shots, but not enough models to really do much against the big fat 90 armor. Of course, this thing is tired, so its armor is going to be getting lowered. Its base is 120, but this is something that was changed recently, where they now show the stats that how it's affected by vigor. It's actually really, really helpful. All right, so Demon's Tongue going to be pushing in. It is rolling. Kadai Fireborn are going to be, in a way, countered by these 2 Nobles. But the Demon's Tongue here might be able to get a Flamethrower salvo in and help finish off those Nobles there. It's okay against single entities. It still does have 40 attack. And the Flamethrower on the front, of course, is very disruptive as well. So the Rahagor's Pride going to be doing the Mighty Roar. Not going to be terribly relevant in terms of the Kadai Fireborn or the Pain Train. And oh, look at that! The train is shooting up in the sky and going after the Archmage. I don't hate that. That's pretty cool. You see, I never think to do that. I forget that thing can friggin' shoot up, but I guess it can. So 1 Noble is broken. Kadai are doing very good. The buffs are certainly adding up. And on the back objective, we do see the Chaos Dwarf monster. He is going to be feasting and pushing into the remnants of the archers. This is what you guys are here for. Oh, yeah. Give us the cinematic shots, baby. It's got to be one of the coolest looking monsters in the game. So Storm Riders are holding on. Probably going to be getting terror routed in a moment here. Back objective looking very secure for the Chaos Dwarves. And the Chaos Dwarves are in the process as well of winning on the side. The Elves are holding on, but man, they're very tattered, right? Like everything is super, super low. The Lord is low. Both Nobles are very, very low. Kadai Fireborn and Astrogoth able to win the fight against the melee elements here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Hobo tapping out here soon. I just feel like there's so many elements here that are favoring the Chaos Dwarves, and they're just not going to be able to crack through it. Now, the Granite Guard going to be shooting a little bit as the units do advance, but the angling on them was a little bit off, so they are going to get charged for free. War Lions as well as Reavers going to be getting into contact here. Wild Riders, not Wild Riders. Well, they are wild and they are riding things, so I guess they're Wild Riders on the way. But the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders going to be heading towards Objective 3 to try and stabilize that position. And the Kadai Destroyer able to push off the Storm Riders most likely will be able to pull back, as Astrogoth is going to be claiming Objective 1, and that's got to be GG, right? There's nothing to kill these SEs. The Kadai Destroyer, the Demon's Tongue are both looking super, super healthy. And to the back point, maybe the High Elves get this one, but even still, Granite Guard is just such linebackers with great base leadership. And a counter against his mobility is going to be getting called in the form of the Bull Central Renders, who are going to be bull charging over towards objective number 3 right here. Flamethrowers coming in, Kadai Destroyer as well. Astrogoth going to be sprinting over this direction. And ladies and gentlemen of the old world, Yeah, Hobo's going to have to tap out here soon. There's really not much. He's fighting like super well considering the circumstances, but he is just so far behind. And even if the mobility does go for a back push now, the Bull Centaurs are going to counter all of that. We do see the Archmage actually getting broken as well by the Wolf Riders in tandem with the remnants of the Granite Guard. Cav are going to come in. Silverhelms, mind you, pretty good quality. We'll be able to smash up these guys, but will struggle to even finish off the remnants of the Granite Guard. And here the single entities are just feasting. The War Lines of Krace, not a terrible unit against like Demon's Tongue, but Demon's Tongue Flamethrower is going to be able to cook him up pretty good. Astragoth is base camping that on the side objective here. The Kadai Fireborn really just hanging in there, and that's going to be GG well played. Really fun match. I enjoyed that one. It was a good battle. Cool to see some off-meta stuff from both sides. And I did like seeing the Destroyer. Who didn't, right? Great cinematic shots, very fun to see in action. It is going to be 2,300 there, and the Magma Cannons got shut down very early, but considering how quickly they were shut down, they still did pretty good in value. Very curious to see people using Astragoth now as a combat character and not using his magic. Yeah, I mean, he's a really good combat character and pretty cheap. The fact that he's infantry size gives him a nice little niche. The Black Hammer of Hashut can give him like, I think 700 or 800 weapon strength, so it's nice. It's like a Walmart version of Slayer of Kings. And yeah, love to see it. GG well played. We will see you guys around. Fine game by these two gentlemen, so shout out to Creeper and Hobo. Looking forward to seeing them in future tournaments. And ladies and gentlemen, adios.